Please welcome the next President of the United States, Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen.
We're coming off the bloodiest year in the history of New York.
How bad is crime on the subways? Today, police say the robbers were getting robbed.
New York, within a matter of weeks, may be bankrupt.
And then to the rescue, developer Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
He accomplished in 3.5 months what the city couldn't do in 6 years.
The city was going into bankruptcy, is what everybody thought, and so he took a chance. He's made it.
There is a new billionaire in town. Trump's the name.
He takes chances that would make a less daring man shudder.
This deal makes Trump the largest individual landholder in New York City.
I think Donald Trump is an arrogant man.
If I were humble, you wouldn't have a building like this. You'd have a plain Jane building that nobody would come and see.
Trump, the art of the deal. The art of the deal, Donald Trump.
I like it. The man's got it made. Got everything.
He's rich, he's brash, he's successful, he owns the world, he's everybody's dream.
Continuing proof that the American dream exists.
He is the American dream.
Let's go get the world. Come on.
It's great to be here at Saturday Night Live. It's even better for Saturday Night Live that I'm here.
Thank God Donald Trump's a Hulkamaniac.
I will kick your ass.
No! The man with the billionaire!
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
You're fired. You're fired.
You're fired.
My favorite show, The Apprentice.
Please don't fire me.
I will never do that.
Over the years, I've surprised a lot of people. The biggest surprise is yet to come.
You act like you're running for something.
You did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. Somebody has to help this country, and if they don't, the country and the world are in big trouble. Everybody's taking advantage of the United States. You know, wealthy people don't like me because I'm competing against them all the time. And the people that really like me are the taxi drivers and the workers, et cetera, et cetera.
Then why are you a Republican?
I mean, I am a Republican because I just believe in certain principles of the Republican Party. The next time they fire so much as a bullet at one of our ships, we ought to go in and take over their oil. That would be me.
Donald Trump is unquestionably the most unique and charismatic figure in American politics in a generation, maybe ever. A successful developer and cultural icon, no one is more famous. Politicians and superstars lined up to be photographed with the embodiment of the American dream. All that changed in 2015 when he crossed the political Rubicon and decided to run for president as a Republican.
Trump Towers, we turn to Vote 2016, where businessman Donald J. Trump will be jumping into the presidential race.
Unbelievable. I think we're living in a simulation.
How many cameras we got?
They sent us with one.
One too many.
All right, look at this. Look at this. Zeus descending Mount Olympus to rocket in the free world. Come on, America!
A lot of angles on the crowd. How big?
It's actually pretty full. You want me to zoom out to show them?
Nah.
Copy that.
Wow. Whoa. That is some group of people. Thousands. Our country is in serious trouble. When was the last time anybody saw us beating, let's say, China? I beat China all the time.
Oh, my God. What is he doing?
Negotiating his next apprentice contract.
The U.S. has become a dumping ground. When did we beat Japan?
We need comments. We need some mudslinging within the GOP.
At anything.
Santorum.
They send their cars over by the millions.
Kasich?
No. Somebody who matters. Who's the future of the GOP?
Ah.
You saw a Chevrolet in Tokyo. It doesn't exist.
Network wants to comment on Trump.
No comment at this time.
He's freeballing this? Who freeballs a presidential announcement?
He's making the GOP look like a bunch of clowns.
Watch, Trump will be out by the second debate.
DNC must be loving this.
Hey, aren't you still dating that spicy little lib over there?
Maybe.
Why don't you ask her?
That's nice. Yeah, they're watching it. Oh.
When do we beat Mexico at the border?
That's our problem.
I don't think they're too worried about it.
This has got to be good for us, right? Anytime. This guy's going to be like a grenade in the GOP.
She's worried.
Worried?
She's worried.
Of the Apprentice guy? Come on.
Ted is too young. Christy, too ugly. Jeb, well, he's related to George. But Trump, let's just say she has a feeling.
Let me guess. Trump's got dirt on her. Everybody's got dirt on her.
Or Free Willy Billy.
Iran is now taking over Iraq. Think of it. Iran is taking over.
Can you get the ground troops on the line? We'll see what they're feeling. Oh, for God's sake. You keep... Hey, Sunday. Crazy train's in town. You can't win, right?
The DNC has nothing to worry about. I mean, you're watching, right? 2 minutes into his campaign, and here comes white grievance.
We as a country are getting weaker.
Oh, did Obama take away your country, your white power?
Impossible, right?
Blacks 5%, Latinos 10% at the most. You can't win. Just keep the spigot turned on, because ballots ain't cheap. Andrew! Andrew! Oh, okay. Okay, talk soon.
No way he's doing it.
Yeah, the great white hype is running.
It's coming from all over South.
Keep on talking, big boy. Latinos down 3 points.
From the Middle East?
Muslims, 10%.
We don't know. It's gotta
Well,
stop.
people do like billionaires.
You know any brothers that would vote for this racist landlord?
Well, he's kind of like a hip-hop icon. You got Snoop, 50, Lil Wayne, Nas, Rick Ross, not the drug dealer, Cameron, they all rapped about Trump. And don't forget Iron Mike Tyson, the champ, Don King, Ray Lewis, Herschel Walker, Dennis Rodman, the worm. He's like a bullshit.
I'm
They like him too.
talking about those people.
What, rich, successful people?
I'm talking about real black people.
Uh-huh.
You know, our
Poor black people. Yeah.
The big
I'm
on it.
What? Faster, please.
All right.
Get him on the phone.
Okay. Oh, come on. Say,
He's on.
who's on?
Cliff.
All right, anybody here that's on minimum wage, do me a favor, get lost, please.
Step out.
Hey. Why don't we just handle this?
Oh, you think we can run counterintelligence?
Maybe.
Cliff! Hey, I'm putting you on speakerphone.
I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. I tell you that.
Yeah, we're watching.
I'll bring back our jobs from China.
Shouldn't you be worried about Bernie first?
Whomever is our candidate, we just want a free and fair election.
Sounds expensive. So what, investigating an opposing candidate? What is this, Venezuela?
We just want to bring to your attention the possibility of a national security risk.
Mm-hmm. And?
Did you know that Trump is planning to build a Trump Tower in Moscow? Word is Putin needs greasing, and, well, presidential lube could ease the rub.
Quid pro quo. That sells. Keep digging.
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me.
What? Americans don't want that. Watch. Jeb Bush will eat them alive.
Absolutely.
We spent $2 trillion in Iraq.
Oh no. Does this mean The Apprentice is gonna be canceled?
Lives. We have wounded soldiers who I love.
Listen, this guy is going to start more wars than Bush Jr. and his daddy.
Okay, I'll take that bet. Yeah.
I will immediately terminate President Obama's illegal executive order on immigration.
Of course, I'll brief the POTUS as soon as I've got something. Do we have his taxes? We have his taxes? No. How do we not have his taxes?
Check foreign investments.
All right, let's get foreign eyes on him. Golf courses, hotels, you can't get to that level without burying a few bodies.
He tried to build a casino in Sydney.
Yes, good. That's good. Trump, the mobster, Don Jr., the wannabe Don. Let's look at everything. Campaign, his family, start bumping into his team.
Nobody will be pushing us around. Fully support and back up the Second Amendment.
I did not need this guy today.
Now, it's
Trump
very interesting.
on.
Today I heard it. Through stupidity, in a very, very hardcore prison, interestingly named Clinton.
Magic.
You don't think DOJ is up to the task?
What we need is somebody more creative because Cliff is too slow and way too methodical.
Opposition research?
Let me put you like this. If there is dirt, they will find it. And if there's not, can they weave a story?
And we will make America great again.
Make America great again. So forgettable.
Oh, kinda sticks with you. I got yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I mean, he's got name recognition. He's got money. Got a big old fan base. Yeah, it's bigger than ours.
You know what? You don't have to be hurtful. But come on, everyone loves a circus.
Yeah, more like an MMA election mania smackdown.
You know, if he manages to stay in the race, he might just save our second quarter. Heck, you know what? He might even save our whole year.
Well, there you have it, folks. Trump has officially announced he's running for president.
Since Trump's announcement on that fateful day, there has been an unrelenting pitched battle between two camps. On one side, he's loved so much that many of his supporters would take a bullet for him. On the other side, he's hated so much that some of his critics cheer when someone tries to assassinate him. Not since Lincoln has a man been so loved and so hated. In 1838, a young Lincoln explored the dangers facing America in his prophetic Lyceum speech.
Shall we expect some transatlantic military giant to step the ocean and crush us with a blow? Never. If destruction be our lot, then we ourselves must be the author and finisher of it.
Then, as now, the existential threat to America comes from within. It's a threat of dictatorship, of tyranny. That would spell the end of America. Lincoln prophetically anticipated the danger of tyranny represented by a Caesar who would unleash a wave of lawlessness across America, subverting our constitutional republic.
Bands of hundreds and thousands, and burn churches, ravage and rob provision stores, throw printing presses into rivers, shoot editors, and hang and burn persons at pleasure.
Lincoln recognized the tyrannical temptation even in himself.
Towering genius disdains the beaten path. It thirsts and burns for distinction. And if possible, it will have it, whether at the expense of emancipating slaves or enslaving free men.
Lincoln is saying it's wrong to use tyrannical power even to do something good, like freeing the slaves. Even great evils must be combated through constitutional means. Lincoln had the larger-than-life dimensions of a Caesar, but he never became a Caesar, even though Democrats in the South accused him of being a tyrant. Trump, like Lincoln, is a larger-than-life figure. And like Lincoln, Trump is accused by Democrats with being a dictator and a tyrant, but with Lincoln, the intensity of feeling is over the issue of slavery. With Trump, the intensity is over the man. Some people try to avoid the issue of Trump the man by saying, I don't like him, but I like his policies. Yet if Trump truly is an aspiring dictator, a Hitler in 1933, then he's a grave threat to the country and his policies don't matter. He must be stopped. The threat of dictatorship and tyranny is real, now as in Lincoln's time. But the question is, where's that threat coming from? Who's the real dictator? Since the issue with Trump is about the man himself, let's discover what he's truly like. To do this, I spoke with two people who know him well. His daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, who is also the co-chair of the Republican National Committee, and Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, who has worked closely with him on his criminal cases.
Alina, what kind of a man is Donald Trump?
First, I would say a family man. That's number one. His love for the country is obvious, and his family has taken a toll because of it.
People often forget Donald Trump is a human being. He's a father, he's a grandfather, father-in-law, husband. He's a real person, and I have always been impressed with the fact that he continues to take on those roles in addition to everything else that he has going on. My kids at their school had a Grandparents' Day. There's no chance he's gonna show up to Grandparents' Day.
Given?
He's running for president again. He's got all these indictments, all these court cases everywhere. He's all over the country campaigning, and sure enough, he came to Grandparents' Day. He sat there with me in the auditorium, watched my daughter with her class do a whole thing up on stage, then walked with her hand in hand to her classroom. This truly is a man who has been completely misrepresented.
No matter what the world wants you to believe, look at his children. That says it all, because you cannot lead a country if you cannot lead your home. We have to remember that. He is a billionaire. He's famous. He has a beautiful family, and he gave that up. He sacrificed.
What do you think, Laura, is the key to his ability to relate to an ordinary guy who doesn't have Mar-a-Lago, doesn't have Westchester, doesn't have Bedminster?
I think he realized in his early days of the Trump organization that the people you needed to talk to on a construction site were not the construction managers. It's really the people who were there day in and day out actually doing the work. And the person who you put in charge is always gonna say, sir, it's going well, everything's great, everything's perfect. But you go talk to the guy over there who's putting the nails in the actual wood, you might get a different story, whether it's with drivers, doormen, security guards.
Even when you have a self-made billionaire, but I know a few of these guys, and typically they sort of secede away from the middle class. Their tastes change. They don't want to eat a hamburger anymore with fries and a Coke. They develop a sort of upper class refinement. It doesn't seem like Trump cares about that.
I think you're right.
I think one aspect that people don't appreciate about Trump, but you see this in the rallies, he's actually a genuine comedian.
Yeah, he's good with the names.
Sleepy Joe, Mini Mike, Crooked Hillary, Little Rocket Man, Crazy Bertie, Crying Chuck, with Shifty Shift, Nervous Nancy. I call her Laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy.
Donald Trump is one of the funniest people I have ever met. And I actually love whenever we have dinner with him. Dinners are like 4 hours because the stories that he tells and the way that he describes things it's hilarious.
And her mother and father are screaming, you got it. You got it, darling. I'm so proud of my girl. Well, she couldn't do it. And then this guy comes along. He's named Alice. And he looks at the weight. World record, world record.
Donald Trump is a showman. He always has been. He always will be.
Trump is a certain kind of a giant. He is a larger-than-life figure, and that scares them.
Well, a lot about Donald Trump scares them. You know, I'll never forget when we all sat down just before he announced he was running for president in 2015, and he said, listen, this is something I want to do, guys. I need you guys to understand that they're not just going to come after me, they're going to come after all of us. And I need to know if you're okay with that. And of course, we were like, yeah, how bad could it possibly get?
Little did you know.
Little did we know. I think he really knew deep down that going against the current and going against the natural progression of things as it relates to our government was going to be very tough for him to do, and he still decided to take it on.
He was such a cool figure in the culture, right? Hanging out with Oprah, and the rappers wanted to be seen with him. And what you're saying is that he was aware that he was putting all this in jeopardy because by shaking up the system, powerful forces would become arrayed against him, even some of the people who were previously on his side.
He knew. He was so right. I think the way he has exposed rot within our government and agencies that people really didn't even know to look for. He exposed a lot of people who really had been bad actors acting in nefarious ways, and I think that's very upsetting and that scares them.
But do you think with Trump, he's running really because he thinks the country is in bad shape and he's the right guy to fix it?
He's the only guy. He's our only option because he's not bought by anybody. He is for America first. And that's frightening to people that have side deals, that have corruption. Well, then, of course, you're afraid of the one person that doesn't have any other interests.
Trump has the dimensions of a Caesar, but he has no intention of being one. And yet, Democrats constantly savage him.
And now, Democrats' greatest hits.
Oh, yeah.
The former white supremacist in chief, Donald Trump.
Who has the morals of an alley cat. That's right. He's a right-wing racist, misogynist.
He's arrogant, he's thin-skinned, misogynist, he's narcissistic, sexist, racist, misogynistic,
fascist, sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot.
A full MAGA misogynist ticket.
A misogynist. A dictator. Dictator.
A dictator.
Dictator. A dictator. A dictator.
A dictator. A dictator.
And they've been saying that he's a dictator, and I'm thinking to myself, well, dictators normally control the police agencies of the government. Police agencies are trying to get him.
So you don't have to wonder, how will Donald Trump be as president? We had him for 4 years.
I mean, what dictatorial things did he do? Did he throw Michael Moore in prison? No. The way Obama threw me in prison, you know? I mean, think, Alina, about oppressive and tyrannical societies, right? The Soviet Union, think of Cuba, North Korea, the Middle East, Venezuela. So here's what they have: widespread censorship.
Right.
They have mass surveillance of citizens. They have ideological indoctrination in the schools and the media, criminalization of political differences, locking up your opponent or worse. All of these things are now present in America, but they're not coming from Trump.
They're coming from them.
They're coming from the Democratic Party.
Locking them up, going after their companies, their families, their associates, their lawyers, putting them in jail, scaring people from being around that person, that if you do, you'll be persecuted, you'll be prosecuted. That is a dictator, and that is what we are living through at this moment.
1 week after the attempted assassination, I spoke with Donald Trump.
A young Abraham Lincoln in his 20s gave a famous speech called the Lyceum Speech, and in it, very eerily, he prophesied that there might come a time in America when a dictator, and he mentioned Caesar, would sort of take over the country and subvert the Constitution. Now, the Democrats go, yeah, of course, that's Trump. He's the dictator. But I think to myself, you were in office. What did you do that was dictatorial? Nothing.
No, we were all about democracy, and that's what we're about. And you know, their theme is, oh, Trump will subvert democracy, but they're the ones that are going to subvert democracy, and that's what they're doing all the time.
I mean, did you do censorship? No. Did you lock up any leading Democrats? No. I mean, there were people chanting for Hillary to be locked up, but you didn't lock her up.
Let's defeat her in November.
Well, with Hillary as an example, I thought it would be a terrible thing, actually. What she did was terrible. What Biden did was terrible. What they all did. But I never would even think of doing that. I could have done it, and we had them dead to right, but wouldn't it be a terrible thing? And yet now, what they've done is they've opened up a box, a Pandora's box, that is a very dangerous thing. They've created a very dangerous precedent.
Let me tell you why I think they're doing it and why they're doing it to you. It's because
You're not a normal Republican. You are a massive entrepreneurial success and a builder. You built the New York skyline. You're also a cultural icon. They fear that even though they know you're not Caesar, you do have that kind of dimension. You have that kind of power. You didn't do an insurrection, but guess what? Had you called for one, there would have been one.
Sure.
And there would be one if you called for one now. They know that kind of power. They're scared of it. And so they're like, this is the one guy we need to go after by all means necessary.
Well, I don't know if I have that power. I'm not sure I want that power. I want the power just to make the country better. We need power to make the country better. We're way behind. China is lapping us in so many different ways, and militarily especially. They're building ships at a rate 10 times greater than ours. And at some point, we're going to have to catch them, and if we don't catch them, there could be problems. And we have enemies in two places, inside and outside. I think the outside ones are far less dangerous in many ways than the inside ones. We have to beat them because there's no reasoning with them. I don't see any reasoning with them, and nobody has.
I mean, this is the key point, because although people talk about unity, it seems to me it is hard to unify with people who are trying to destroy America. So is it your idea to unify the country against the people who want to destroy America?
Well, you know, they talk about unity, but there's such a difference. They want open borders. We want closed borders. We want people to come in legally. We want people that'll help our country, not people that we're going to be taking care of. They're emptying out their jails into our country. Now, who can want that? But that's what they want. Third world countries have borders. Nobody has a border where 20 million people come through, totally unvetted, unchecked. Our beautiful United States of America is receiving prisoners from all over the world. And you know, Venezuela crime is way down because they've taken their criminals and they've dropped them into the United States. And if I were running those countries, I'd be doing the same thing. So can there be unity? I'm not sure. The one thing I will say is we had the most successful country we've ever had, and there was unity, believe it or not. People were getting on board. It was an amazing thing that was happening during the period of time that I was president. So I think success can bring unity.
And would you agree that we're dealing not just with incompetence, but we're dealing with the sort of gangsterization of American politics?
Yeah, we are. We're doing that. And we have people that, I guess they're just bad people. Why would they want to have open borders with the world pouring into our country and destroying your Social Security and your Medicare and taking your hospital beds and taking your schoolrooms and taking everything else? It's no good for anybody. They die coming up in the caravans. The women are just being absolutely battered with what's going on. You know, there are those that say this will be our last election if we don't win. And I fully understand what they mean. I think it's a very dangerous time for our country.
If you put yourself in Trump's shoes, you can see how he thinks unity is a mirage. Look what they did to him even before he became president. Democrats, including Obama, sought to frame him.
Russia.
Collusion.
Collusion.
The Russians were successful.
As a Russian spy, an asset of Putin, a traitor to the United States. Traitors typically are shot or hanged. So this was an attempted political assassination.
Do you have evidence that there was in fact collusion between Trump associates and Russia during the campaign?
Not at this time.
The investigation did not find the president's campaign conspired with Russia.
It was all bullshit.
I mean, these are lies made up at the highest levels of government, promulgated with the knowledge and cooperation of the media. So this was a massive coordinated scandal.
There are history books out there right now in the United States where that is why they say Donald Trump won the 2016 election, because he colluded with Russia. It's mind-boggling. This is where we are in America. But he went through all of it.
President Trump weighing what he calls his biggest decision.
I'm going to have to make a decision, and I only hope to God that it's the right decision.
So Trump has this Trump economy. It's going great. He's kind of coasting to re-election. And then COVID comes along, and Trump is faced with a choice, which is that if he goes along with the temporary but shutting down of the economy, he's killing his own economy. And yet he did it.
100%. I mean, I think that Anyone who thought that all Donald Trump wanted to do is go in and score wins for himself and rack up the scoreboard and leave, he cares about the people of this country, and he always wants to do what is right for them, even if it's going to ultimately hurt him and his ability to get reelected.
Trump comes in, you've got all this encrusted bureaucracy. It doesn't seem like anyone can get the economy lubricated and going again. And he almost makes it look easy.
They tried to characterize Donald Trump as this guy who had no idea what he was doing. And the fact that he came in, boy, it made it look easy and made all of these other people, quite frankly, look like fools.
Trump's vision for America can be summed up in his State of the Union address.
My fellow citizens, America is the place where anyone can rise. And here, on this land, on this soil, on this continent, the most incredible dreams come true. This nation is our canvas, and this country is our masterpiece. Our spirit is still young. The sun is still rising. God's grace is still shining. And my fellow Americans, the best is yet to come. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Most Republicans believe the Democrats rigged the 2020 election and got Trump out of the White House. Still, the Democrats couldn't make Trump go away.
You want me to stay on Trump?
I hate this guy.
Enough of the MAGA man. How about apocalypse now? Doomsday, Antichrist, Nazi, end of the free world. Can you give me that?
Copy.
And to you.
Our prime time is a ghost town. So please give me anything. Ideas. How about a left-wing Tucker?
Okay, well, okay. Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo.
I am not about to dig through CNN's trash can. Did you fill tomorrow's 10 spot?
Yes.
Who? Because he better be a Trump killer. Red meat for the blue market.
Yes. Okay. I got Ryan Paul. He wants to promote his book.
It's Paul Ryan, idiot. And literally, we are being crushed by PBS's Antique Roadshow. And that's what you got, Ryan? He couldn't even neutralize Trump as a speaker. So please tell me, what's he gonna do for us?
I don't know. He's bitter, okay? It was my party. He stole my party, and I can cry if I want to. I'm Paul Ryan.
All right, I get it. But he better nut punch Trump. Hard. In the nuts.
Got that weekly Save Democracy Zoom in 20.
For the gravest threats to our civilization are not from abroad, but from within. None is greater than the weaponization of the justice system, the FBI, and the DOJ. We must conduct a top-to-bottom overhaul to clean out the festering rot and corruption of Washington, D.C.
He literally wants to fire all of us.
That's nothing. He wants to destroy my entire department.
Cliff, welcome to New York.
Where are we starting?
Anything and everything. We'll indict him for jaywalking.
I love my job. We still on for that Saving Democracy thing?
In 10 minutes.
Jeffrey Toobin gonna be there?
No. No unidentified. No RFK loonies. No jolly green giants that are so dumb they're actually voting green. Listen up. If this little box doesn't say Democratic Party, toss it.
We will do whatever it takes to bring back honesty, confidence, and trust in our elections. To eliminate cheating, I will immediately demand voter ID, same day.
This is exactly what we're fighting for, people. He only wants rich whites to vote.
Buying IDs are so expensive nowadays. I have ballots.
Baby got ballots.
Yeah.
Woo, yeah. Hey, listen up. Use these to train the newbies. Teach everyone how to fill out a ballot.
So start with the homeless?
Oh, no, honey. They're home free, not homeless.
Yes, go to the shelters. Every single person gets a ballot.
Dead or alive.
white, brown, black, rainbow. If they're schizophrenic, that's a ballot for each personality.
Good to know.
Oh, hey, don't forget we have that secret cabal meeting in 5.
The decline of America is being forced upon us by Biden and the radical left lunatics running our government right into the ground. This decline is not a fate.
Why is he not dead yet?
He's like the damn Terminator.
We will make America glorious again.
Oh, Lord heaven. You know what? You ready to save democracy? Well, welcome, everybody. Glad to have you. Y'all remember Zach from 2020?
Let me guess why you want me on this call. Hey, Zach, we have you by the Section 230 short hairs, so boot anyone spreading politically inconvenient malinformation from your platform as you amplify the good word campaign messaging.
This guy is a billionaire.
And by the way, since Elon bought Twitter and isn't playing nice, double down.
Sounds about right.
I just have one question. How about a better candidate?
Preferably one who wasn't a featured extra on The Walking Dead.
I'm working on it.
How about another pandemic?
Guys, you saw the State of the Union address. Here we got our man out there, Biden, vitality, vigor, taking control.
Yes, congrats on getting Weekend at Biden's through a whole hour without him pissing his pants.
I pooped my pants.
The meds worked. No wonder there's an Adderall shortage. While you guys are hoping one day Biden forgets he's POTUS, this country thinks the FBI, DOJ, NIH, Fauci, the media lies to them and censors them.
Maybe because we lied to them and then censored them.
I'm sorry, who's that?
Nobody. Is this my assistant? Who's going to get me coffee?
Yes, Massa.
Seriously?
And this Ministry of Disinformation shit isn't working either.
Sucks that Trump's proven right again. You got Russiagate, Obamagate, Ballotgate.
Did somebody slip a little red pill into your morning kombucha? You may dress like Tucker, but you're still a black man, so act like it.
Okay, well.
Well, they also think that Trump still represents the American success story.
You know, we've been trying to rebrand him since pre-COVID.
Hitler, fascist, dictator, you name it.
Putin's puppet, the son of Satan. Let's say that.
That's a good one.
News alert, nobody watches cable.
Well, that's not true. There's Gutfeld.
Oh.
We're also in the podcast space.
Yeah, all behind Rogan, Bongino, Levin, Beck, Gallagher.
All right, we get it. Nobody likes us. Nobody believes us.
We need to show them, not tell.
Instead of crying about Trump, we need to do something to him, like stop him permanently.
Hey, maybe we shouldn't be reporting this.
Well, that's where I think we can help. Trump will be indicted. We're gonna drag his sorry ass into court.
Ooh, send him to Atlanta. We'll fry him up Southern style.
We'll bury him so deep in legal, it'll bankrupt them.
Nobody dates a poor boy.
No, he's gonna have to sell Mar-a-Lago. Heck, he might have to sell Melania.
Yeah, I love this. Trump on trial, televised.
It'll be bigger than O.J. Simpson's trial.
Yeah, OJ.
Broke Donald in jail right before the election. That's some good optics.
Sorry for being that guy, but isn't it election interference? I mean, just a little? Like a little?
It's not interference if we do it. It's saving democracy.
Everyone, imagine this. Trump's mugshot.
Ooh, billboards all across America will make a whole campaign out of it.
Trump in an orange jumpsuit. Orange is the new orange.
Cindy, how are we doing on voter registration?
Baby got ballots, but it's useless when we can't send them anywhere. I mean, I need more drop boxes, more money. Soros is old and shriveled, but that titty ain't dry yet. And where's that
Gross.
DEI money? And it's the only way that we're gonna guarantee that every registered voter votes.
On messaging, let's call it expanding voting access.
Yeah, but how are we doing on war game scenarios? Cliff, are you ready to handle these angry Trumpsters when he loses? It will not be pretty.
Every agency in D.C. cannot wait to unleash the hounds of hell on all of MAGA.
Okay, well, on that note, thanks, everybody. And I guess we'll see you next week, same time.
In 2024, the Democrats' fantasy of indicting Trump became a reality. 91 indictments. This is lawfare, the legal equivalent of warfare. It's an attempted legal assassination.
Donald Trump was arraigned on a New York Supreme Court indictment returned by a Manhattan grand jury on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree.
Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice.
With violations of Georgia law arising from a criminal conspiracy to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election.
Charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding.
Donald Trump falsely inflated his net worth by billions of dollars to unjustly enrich himself.
A writer who accused former President Trump of rape has filed a new lawsuit against him. E. Jean Carroll is suing Trump for battery and defamation.
If I weren't running for office and doing well, I wouldn't have any of these court cases. This is the weaponization of justice, and nobody thought it could happen in this country. Well, it has happened in this country. It was started by Biden and Kamala because she was a prosecutor.
Then he said, I'm going to run again. Then you have Mar-a-Lago raided, you have indictments, you have mugshots.
I mean, I think if any other Republican would have fled from the field, quit the race.
Forget it.
Gone into hiding. And with Trump, it's not only that he hangs in there. I mean, what's amazing is he marches forward. What is Trump's involvement in the cases?
His legal cases have become part of his election. He understands the legal ramifications. He comes up with strategies. He's incredibly in tune with his legal team. This is a new type of lawfare. It's a new type of election interference. It's a new form of cheating.
You were facing 91 criminal charges. A normal person would just emotionally crumble. I mean, they'd go into the fetal position. They would get out of the race. Do you have a sort of inner fear that you have to overcome? How do you do it?
It's something that I think makes me stronger in a certain way. It bothers me much less than other people. I don't know why. I don't know what that is.
Is it a competitive impulse in you that goes, I'm just not going to let myself be defeated by it?
I just will not let myself be bothered by it. I want to go on, do what I have to do. I never had a problem like this in my life. All of a sudden, I have like 9 of them going on at one time. This is a political hoax.
I think the goal is to put him in jail because they're so afraid of his voice. I think it's beyond just the Oval Office.
So how do you pull that off?
There's a formula. They pick a state that is blue.
Yep.
They pick DAs and AGs that have been backed by major Democrat donors who have further ambitions in the political world. Bragg, James.
Fani Willis.
Fani Willis.
Yep.
Jack Smith. You give power to somebody who's hungry for power, they take it. And then you give them financial backing from DNC major donors. And now they've been bought. And then you look at things like the White House records, and you see that these people have all visited the White House.
The White House counsel's office met with the top aide to Special Counsel Jack Smith.
All rise.
A grotesque accusation, such as rape. There were statute of limitations. Governor Hochul created a new law with the help of Roberta Kaplan, Ms. Carroll's lawyer. For just 1 year, you could bring a lawsuit against someone without any statute of limitations, without any of the prerequisites that used to exist. That 1 year was during and right up to when he was going to announce. And who do you think brought that suit so fast? They were ready. You are seeing the manipulation and creation and bending of laws in the most un-American way.
All right, folks, we have one target. You know who he is. Oh, my God.
Did you sign off on these files?
I did, but you got to sign yourself.
Always.
The people of the state of New York versus Donald J. Trump.
That's taking people that were on the hush money case from the Biden DOJ and planting them onto the New York prosecutor's team. Having judges whose family members profit from the outcome of these lawsuits, having judges who have donated to the opposing political party, that is un-American.
Breaking news, CNN learning tonight that Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Democratic National Committee helped fund the research which led to the controversial and, frankly, salacious and disgusting in some of its allegations dossier.
Hillary Clinton paid an FEC violation for paying her law firm and hiding a payment so that the law firm would hire people to help with the dossier, the Russia hoax, right?
So to frame Trump, basically.
Let's just look at that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about somebody who actually hid money on purpose.
The Clinton campaign has been fined $8,000.
All rise. The United States versus Donald J. Trump.
There's a massive raid on his private residence.
With a notification to the FBI agents that they should use lethal force if necessary.
Imagine that. Lethal force. I was sitting with the president when the raid was happening, and I got to tell you, he was calm as a cucumber. Somebody that does something wrong, they're not calm in those situations. The raid was just unconscionable.
And we have some breaking news now in Donald Trump's federal classified documents case. The judge in Florida has indefinitely postponed this trial. Let's get straight to CNN's Caitlin Polans. Caitlin, what is driving this incredibly consequential decision?
All right. Now the judge got that to see his precise.
Well, what are they even alleging? Are they saying that Trump tried to fix the count in Georgia because of a phone call that he did with...
By the way, with lawyers on the phone.
With lawyers on the phone.
Lawyers were on the phone.
The premise of the Georgia case is Trump knew he lost, but was somehow demanding that votes be, quote, found, as if to say, go find me some fraudulent votes, whereas anyone who's been listening to Trump or knows Trump firmly believes he won Georgia.
Well, last time I checked, the executive branch has an obligation to make sure that our American voting system is done properly and correctly, and that the American people have faith in our voting system.
Also have some breaking news tonight, the many legal cases facing Donald Trump. Judge Tanya Chutkan just formally canceled Trump's election interference trial, arguably the most important trial in recent American history. Just the kind of delay he wants.
The United States versus Donald J. Trump. If you look at some of the testimony we've seen, if you look at what President Trump actually said, go peacefully and patriotically, how is that a crime?
I mean, at no point did Trump say, go inside the Capitol, go stop the count.
I want to give you a live look right now at the Supreme Court. The justices just made a historic ruling, entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority.
The court gives former President Trump all the immunity he asked for and more.
Not only have the cases crumbled, the eyes of the American people have been opened. Even people who don't normally pay close attention are like, something very funny is going on, when they're so determined to lock this guy up and they can't even explain to me what it is exactly that he did.
And they went after him because they want to hit him financially. They want to hit him politically with women. They want to hit him as a felon. They want all these narratives, but every single time they hit, we have come back from it stronger.
Well, the January 6th case is frozen.
Classified document case is a total loser.
All he has to do is show pictures of Biden's garage stuffed with classified documents hanging from the rafters like it's an episode of Hoarders.
Hunter and his friends using them as coasters for their Jägermeister shots. And here's the Fannie Willis.
Oh, what a cock block. We had a legitimate shot at election interference, too.
Not a chance.
Powered by the unassailable might of the Department of Justice and the unwavering resolve of the toughest district in America, we're down to the hush money case.
You think testimony from a porn star and a disgraced convicted lawyer will sway a jury?
No. Not in real America. But in Manhattan, hell yeah. We control the procedure, we control the outcome.
It'll get overturned on appeal.
Doesn't matter. All that matters is the conviction. Doesn't matter how long. A guilty verdict in that case will repudiate Trump and all of this circle of enablers and supporters.
Prison?
Unlikely, but not impossible. But even if he's just on probation, Trump will become a servant of the state, which means he won't even be able to wipe his royal behind without our permission. Every move he makes will have to be approved by us.
Yeah.
We have a verdict in the criminal trial of the Donald Trump.
As soon as we get updates, of course, we'll read them. Okay.
Okay, we have count 1, guilty.
Yes! Oh! Boom! Yeah! Yeah! Gotcha, Trump! Come on, baby. Oh! Yeah!
Hey, you know what? Great job. Great job.
No, you great job.
No. Oh, come on.
You did all the legwork, buddy.
Boy, yeah, this is great. Hey, you don't think that it's gonna turn him into like a political prisoner or anything, do you? Like, like Nelson Mandela or?
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt.
We did a good job.
Rigged trial, a disgrace.
Nothing bad. Well, that will come of this. Nothing. That's great.
Every single time they hit, we've come back from it stronger because I think it's become too desperate.
My poll numbers are much higher now than they have ever been. People understand it's all a hoax.
You've done that. It's almost like you put them on trial.
But do you really believe that when people talk about the threat to democracy that Trump poses, do you really think that that is this an equal evil to Biden?
I mean, listen, I can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy.
Oops, there it is. Somebody vax this guy.
That is, President Biden is the first president in history that has used the federal agencies to censor political speech, so to censor his opponent. I can say.
Oh, get over yourself, Junior. This ain't Camelot anymore. Whatever our government did or didn't do was 60 years ago.
You know, given his family's history with the CIA,
you'd think he'd keep low.
WeGov's poll is out. We're losing under 30.
Ouch.
Cindy, hey, right on cue. I'm putting you on speakerphone. Go.
Yeah, we'll have to slow our registration for the under 30s. They're moving to Trump.
What?
Nah.
Yeah, paying off the student loans didn't help.
We're gonna have to hit abortion rights harder. Really push those horrific stories of all those women that have to travel the Underground Railroad, go from red states to free states just for their reproductive health.
1859 all over again.
Yeah, no, I like that's high stakes. That's good. That's good.
We picked up a little in the over 80.
Okay, okay.
Good, yeah.
Sympathy votes.
Where else can we make it up?
Jews, down.
What?
Pesky and Moss.
Blacks, down.
No, not
Really?
the blacks.
We still have the Latino vote, right?
Mis amigos.
Yeah, unless they own a business, go to church, or mail.
Oh, no. Unless they have a vajayjay.
Biden still has men with vaginas.
They do spend every Easter together.
President Trump, here we are in Mar-a-Lago. It is a magnificent castle, and every room more beautiful than the next. And I look at the White House and I think, well, that's like low-income housing. I mean, that's nothing compared to this place right here. And my question to you is, why do you do it?
I do it because I love the country, and this country has tremendous potential. It's been horribly run over a fairly long period of time, and it's a failing nation in many respects. I think you understand that better than most. People took over and they destroyed our country. They really did. And usually when they go bad, it's very, very hard to come back. And it would be for this country. So I felt I had no right not to do it. I thought I should do it. I thought I had almost an obligation to do it.
What do you love most about America?
Well, I think I just love the concept of freedom.
I really believe he knows there is no one else who will do the job that ultimately needs to be done. I believe he's the only person who can do it. I think he believes he's the only person who can do it as well.
Before I came to America, I'd watched these Western movies. And the plot of a typical Western involves a small town. And it's a very harmonious town, but then some gangsters come into town, and they take over the place.
They cut your
my brother.
And the whole population is terrified. And then an outsider shows up, typically coming over the mountains, and no one knows a whole lot about the guy, but there's something fearsome about the outsider. And of course, the gangsters are immediately on alert, and so they gang up on him. They're out to get him. They're like, we have to get rid of this guy.
You through?
And the big fight begins. At the end of the film, the sole gunman who has basically defeated all the gangsters, he rides back out of town. And the message is that he could have become a gangster if he wanted, because he has that kind of power. He defeated the gangsters, but the fact that he leaves is a way of saying, I'm making Shinbone great again. I'm restoring the harmony of the town.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that a way to think about Trump?
We are living in an actual American Western right now.
That's what I'm
Vinod.
saying.
Yeah.
Right?
What a great analogy. It's so true.
The left and the Democrats say, you want to come in a second time and you will never leave. Now, you have trolled those people by putting out funny memes about Trump 24, Trump 28, Trump 32, but I think of the Western, where the good guy comes in, he takes care of the bad guys, he fixes the place, and at the end of the movie, he leaves.
And they said that the first time, too. He's never going to leave. Of course I'm going to leave. We'll have plenty of time to fix the country. And we have great people. You know, we have great backup. Somebody will take over and they'll do a good job.
He wants to go in for 4 years, for a term for a president, do what needs to be done, and get out. The guy didn't need to go back and do this. I don't think he really wants to go back and do this. He knows what he's gonna have to face when he gets back in that White House. If you think they're fighting against him now, just wait.
Cliff,
I trust this line is secure.
if anyone's listening, it's us.
Right. Now, I don't need to tell you this, but your agency has conducted clandestine operations in Iran, Guatemala, the Congo, Chile, Afghanistan.
What's your point, Cliff?
Well, the point is, why not here? Why not Trump?
This agency does not conduct domestic operations.
Very funny. We should have done more.
His home was raided. His team was wiretapped. We indicted everybody on his Christmas card list. Jailed Manafort, Cohen, Stone, Gates, Navarro, Bannon, Weiselberg.
Well, it wasn't enough. We're running out of time. Too bad it's not the 60s, right?
The rot in Washington is so deep.
On a recent lecture tour in Australia, Tucker Carlson and I discussed the risk Trump poses to some very powerful people.
You know, someone's got to overturn the tables in the temple, like actually. And that person will be risking his life doing that. You know what I mean? We have precedent for that. So we know that they're serious. Why wouldn't they be? Control of the world? People risk their lives to rob liquor stores. Let's say you're running the world. What wouldn't you do? But somebody needs to do that, like actually, someone who's not afraid to die.
Survival is a topic Trump himself spoke about as early as 1992.
But less than 2 years ago, the news was that the Trump empire was in trouble, and some were quick to announce that the king had lost his crown. Donald Trump, some say, is out to prove them wrong and is currently writing his third book, which is The Art of the Comeback.
You did an interview with Charlie Rose in the early 1990s,
Yeah.
and this was a difficult time for the company. You were facing all kinds of difficulties. You owed a lot of money.
Real bad years. We had a fight. I mean, it was a struggle. It was a survival. It was surviving at the top. I wrote the book. It was surviving at the top. And it wasn't easy, and it wasn't pleasant.
Did you ever think you'd lose? Did you ever lose confidence? Did you ever say,
no,
I may not get out of this?
No.
Not once?
Not once. And the reason I didn't say it is because I had to go back and do it myself. You see, I built what I built myself. And I did it by working long hours and working hard and working smart. More importantly than anything else is by using my own brain.
So what is the most important thing to a guy like you?
I think the way I've survived, the quality in which I've lived under the survival mode, the image I've portrayed during the survival period. I mean, people haven't seen me go into a corner and put my thumb in my mouth and say, I give up, I give up. I mean, this kid doesn't give up.
But you said, I am also proud of the fact, the way I survived.
Yeah.
And I flash forward now to this attempted assassin, and I say to myself, you survived, but it's not just you survived, it's the way you survived. And I think that's something that you couldn't prepare for, you couldn't rehearse for, you couldn't put on an act. It is you.
Yeah. Well, it was a very chilling moment, surreal. It was a lovely day, and the sun was beaming, and everything was good, and we had a crowd that the likes of which no candidate has ever had. But tens of thousands of people were there, and I started. And the amazing thing is that I called out a chart on my right. Take a look at that chart, which I never do. And if the chart wasn't used early, it would have been a different story. Really see something that said, take a look at what happened. But there was blood all over the place. They felt I was hit other places because there was so much blood. But I wasn't. I said, I'm not. Is he all right? Crowd, the patriots, they're incredible people. They didn't know, was I hurt badly, or was I not hurt, or was I dead? I started, get me up. I could see they were confused. They didn't know, was I okay or not? And I put up my fist. And I don't know what it was. I said, fight, fight, fight. But the amazing thing, nobody ran. You know, if a bullet goes off in like a soccer stadium, the people will run. They call it a stampede, and people will get killed. Nobody ran. In fact, the opposite. They're looking around. They see what happened. They saw that I was in trouble, and they weren't going to leave. What a day.
How has it changed you?
I don't know. I'm not sure that it changed me. People tell me, oh, it's changed you, because it should have changed, because I'm, in theory, not supposed to be here doing an interview with you right now. I mean, I wouldn't be here if my head wasn't in a certain position. It was literally in the only position it could be in, and that came right along here, right? Pretty amazing, pretty amazing.
I mean, I thought of something Vivek Ramaswamy said, if Trump had been assassinated, America would have ended. I mean, what a statement to make. And it occurred to me that not only is there a providential hand on you, but a providential hand on America, which is what Washington believed and Lincoln believed. Do you believe it?
I think maybe so, and I think this was a good example of it, because the odds of it happening, well, they shouldn't have let me go up to the stage. That was a mistake. So there was mistakes made, and we can't let those mistakes happen. It would have been a terrible thing for the country. It would have been a terrible thing for probably the world, in a sense. It was not a pleasant day, but it was maybe a day that something will come out of it that's going to be good for the future of the country. That's the only thing I could say. And don't forget, other people were hurt and injured and killed. Good man, Corey. Those people paid a big price.
I know his heart. I know deep down who he truly is. Yes, he's a fighter. Yes, he's a lion.
A lot of people think of courage as being fearless. The philosopher Aristotle says that's not true. He says courage is actually in between sort of cowardice on the one side and sort of recklessness on the other side. But Aristotle goes, the courageous man has fear. He doesn't overcome the fear. The fear is real, but he pushes ahead anyway, so he's not reckless. He measures the risk. So my question is, what is he risking it for?
He's risking it for this country.
Democrats and their media allies used a type of character assassination to provide the rationale for an actual assassination. Is it any surprise that a fanatic acted on these warnings? I bet he even considered himself a hero for doing it. Ironically, the attempt not only failed, but elevated Trump.
Seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life.
It put him in rare historical company. Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, JFK, RFK, Reagan. Now Trump. The Confederate Democrat John Wilkes Booth assassinated Lincoln. And after that, he said, "This is what becomes of tyrants." He couldn't have been more wrong about Lincoln, just as the people who despise Trump and wish him dead couldn't be more wrong about Trump. Trump is a man of singular virtues, the same American virtues Lincoln lists in his Lyceum speech that are essential to defeat tyranny. Patriotism, the courage and ability to rebuild America, and above all, reverence for our Constitution and laws. Trump, like Lincoln, is a colossal figure, a titan. The Democrats are after him, not because he's a tyrant, but because he's a genuine threat to the tyranny of the left, just as Lincoln was a genuine threat to the slave owner class. Trump has beaten back every attack against him, even by dodging a bullet aimed at his head. What's left to stop Trump?
They cheat in many different ways. That's all they're good at. They're not good in policy. They're not good in government. They're not good running things. They're good at cheating in elections.
Donald Trump has said that not only is the 2020 election rigged and stolen, a topic that we exposed in 2000 Mules, but that our election system now is vulnerable, it's riddled with holes. And when Trump says this, the Democrats say, "You're attacking democracy." Ernest, we brought you on board as an investigative reporter to dig into this topic.
All right, we are on our way to meet a gentleman that is going to show us one of the easiest ways that you're going to lose your election in 2024.
And Rick, you have said to me, Dinesh, if you want to run for office, don't worry about the voters. You just need to hire me.
There are so many state laws that give us avenues to buy the ballots, print the ballots, and deliver them to cross the finish line for victory. There are so many loopholes.
Wait. Did you actually say the word buy the ballots?
I said to myself, there's no way that the election can be stolen by simply purchasing ballots or printing ballots.
How do you buy a ballot?
You can go to the shops that actually have the ballots, and you can buy them straight up.
Well, I mean, most people think that to get a ballot, you've got to request one from the state. And you are now making the shocking claim that no, anyone can buy ballots.
It's very simple. He purchases the ballots. He goes to any printing company you want in the nation.
Certified blank ballot stock used for printing emergency omni-ballot BB.
And just print them out. That's it.
Actually, you can order online, and they'll ship it right to your house.
How do you actually get all the information on the ballot?
Many of the county and Secretary of States, you can actually look up what your ballot would look like, or request an absentee ballot for your region and just copy that.
Could I print 1,000 ballots?
So we were able to, the first time, purchase 10,000 ballots. We printed them out. We actually went to some of the election officials and tested the ballots. They verified that they would be read by their machines.
Is there any marking on the ballot that makes it impossible for that ballot to be duplicated?
Many states do not have watermarks. Most of them don't.
A ballot in this respect is very different than, say, a $20 bill, right? There's presumably all kinds of markings on there that allow a teller to say this is a valid note. So to the degree that ballots are the currency of our democracy, what you're saying is counterfeiting is easy to do.
It is, because we value money more than our actual votes in this country, and so we don't have the same type of security on the ballots that we do on our dollar bills.
Is counterfeiting of the ballot in the manner you describe illegal?
In most states, no, not at all.
Press 1 to speak to an agent.
I called the voter registration office and said, can I make copies of my ballot?
Yeah, that's fine. If you're just having it for your own personal, that's fine.
Yes. Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
You now have 10,000 ballots in your home. You have not broken the law.
No.
You fill out the ballots. You produce 10,000 different signatures on the ballot. Now, I would want to know who are the people who are on the voter rolls who, let's say, haven't voted in the last 4 elections, so I could actually sign their names.
Some of those voter rolls from the states are free, and some are at a low cost. Minnesota's $42.
I went to the local registrar's office, filled out a quick application. I got a list of over 1 million names. It cost me $35.
1 million names.
And you have a list of every registered voter in that county, or you can get the whole state.
I then go down the list and see who hasn't voted, and I actually know if I want to vote somebody else's ballot, I can do that.
That's right. And so the places I'm going to look for right away, the college where the students have actually graduated, but they're still registered, the nursing homes where they haven't removed the dead people, the homeless shelters for the people who have actually improved their lives, but they're still registered over here.
Now, I'm going to take that same list that you just did, put it in an Excel spreadsheet, and what you're going to find are these big gaps. And those gaps mean that they didn't vote in any other election.
We have access to the National Change of Address. It's by the U.S. Postal Service and allows us to do a 3-year look back. We can run that against the voter rolls and see who's moved, but the Secretary of State and the auditors hasn't removed them from the voter rolls.
What is so maddening about this is that when I move, I notice that everybody else knows. Like, the DMV knows.
Everybody.
The California Tax Authority knows. However, a notable exception are the voter people who don't track it. The Rasmussen survey found 17% of mail-in voters say that in the 2020 election, they voted in a state where they were no longer a permanent resident.
Hi, how are you? Hi. Hi. I will see if we can get your vote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, your address?
I'm under a bridge over there.
It's okay, we can use the shelter's address.
Hey, Tony,
Yes. Tony. Tony's your name. How about your last name, Tony?
In the district that I want to run in, there's like a homeless shelter. And let's say there are 300 guys who show up for food. I want all their votes.
In most states, it's actually recommended to have people go in, register those voters, and then go ahead and give them an absentee ballot, and then deliver it back to the county.
Are you saying that the absentee ballot application and the ballot itself can be simultaneously filled in and turned in?
Yes.
And I talked to many homeless people, and they all said that they were registered by their caseworker.
Oh, yeah, I just registered. Oh, cool. Since I, moved places and who registered you? You went by yourself? Actually, the MSC helped me. A social worker. Oh, okay.
So I could have 500 ballots coming to that shelter. Maybe 200 of the homeless people actually come get their ballots. What happens to the other 300 ballots? Those ballots are up for grabs. And if you're that type of person that will do something like voter fraud, you could just fill those out and put those in.
This is a very alien topic for conservatives and Republicans. Our team focuses on the campaign. Let's have a rally, let's get our message out. But the other side is actually laser focused on how to make ballots, how to hit nursing homes, homeless shelters. Talk about colleges.
Legislatures are passing laws requiring that the Secretary of State collect the names of all of the students, and they're allowing them to be registered automatically at the precincts at the school.
A student could be from one state,
Correct.
But let's say going to school in Arizona, for example, suddenly they're registered in Arizona without even their knowledge, and if somebody voted their vote in Arizona, they still wouldn't know about it.
That's right.
So now I have my 10,000 ballots, and I start filling them out using names off of the voter roll. Up to this point, it's all legal. The ballots only become illegal once they are cast.
A lot of the drop boxes throughout the United States, they're unsecured. There's no video recording.
Key point that actually bears on 2,000 mules. They said, Dinesh, you're not showing us the same mule going from one drop box to the other on surveillance, right? And my point was that, first of all, many states didn't do any surveillance at all. The states that did have surveillance, out of 10 drop boxes, there might have been surveillance on one drop box. And you don't have surveillance, there's a great vulnerability for fraud.
That's correct.
Rick, you're my consultant. It's election day. The numbers are coming in. It's getting late in the evening. I'm still behind.
Don't worry. We have insiders.
That's in here. Click.
We have a few of the election officials that will be there as poll workers that will have opportunities during shift changes to insert the ballots where we need them.
We're going to get some approved ballot containers. We have our metal ballot boxes. We're going to go ahead and add that to the cart and see how easy this gets delivered to my front door.
What mechanisms are in place equivalent to like a metal detector, but for ballots, to make sure no one is bringing ballots in or taking them out?
None. There is none. There's so much chaos happening here on the floor.
I've actually walked in with other people and just realized that we're in the counting center. No one checks your backpack. No one's checking anything that you're carrying in. So if you have ballots in a backpack and you put them under the table that you're looking at, all you have to do is
by
pull
the way,
those out.
even if later somebody looks at the surveillance and goes, wait, I see a backpack full of ballots, all you've got to say, well, I just moved them from over there to over here. Nobody can prove that
I found them under the table. They were under the table, and I'm pulling them out. Here, hey, look, we found some more ballots. We have to count these. And you put those in. Who's going to question you?
I mean, this is, to me, the best explanation that exists for how so many people in 2020, with Trump having a commanding lead, could go on television and say, not to worry, it's going to turn our way, as indeed it did.
You haven't counted the bad ballots yet.
Now, these ballots, they have an envelope that has a name and a signature. They're supposed to do some signature matching. What kind of signature matching is going on?
Very little to none.
And this is the person making minimum wage.
Right.
And I've got to go through thousands and thousands of signatures. So guess what I'm doing? Click, 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 click.
I mean, we've actually seen that in past elections, the speed. It looks like no one's actually doing any checking. It's just a process of almost automatic approval.
Correct, because some states have a deadline as to when these votes have to be counted. Most states actually only compare the signature on the absentee application and the envelope, which happened almost at the same time. So if you have a bad actor that requested the absentee ballot, their signature is going to match the envelope that's coming back.
And once the envelope and the ballot are separated, it's a permanent divorce.
Under federal and state laws, you are not supposed to associate a voter with an actual ballot. So any type of serial number is not allowed.
To date, it looks like no one is held accountable for any of this.
No one's held accountable. Not one state, not one county is being held accountable.
And the real problem is that for candidates, there's a limited time window. You have 7 to 10 days to file a case, otherwise it's over.
Sometimes people say, well, when you talk about voter fraud, you got to remember, Dinesh, that there have been many recounts. Obviously, they haven't uncovered any significant, there may be fraud here or there or this guy or that guy, but there's no systematic fraud.
Your recount is not going to uncover anything new. So you're going to take the same ballots that have already been put in, maybe fraudulently, and recount those ballots. So you're going to get the same number.
We're not auditing the actual absentee envelopes, the actual signatures there. We're not even auditing the poll books, and we're not even calling voters to determine whether or not they actually voted or not. So a post-election audit is absolutely embarrassing, and we shouldn't even be calling it an audit.
Now we turn to the tens of millions of illegals the Biden-Harris administration has let into the country. What's their motive?
You claim that Democrats, President Biden's immigration plan to open up the border, you said that the president is getting, and Democrats are doing it to get more votes. But undocumented immigrants cannot vote in federal elections, so how is that possible?
Welcome to the office of the Minnesota Secretary of State's Elections Division.
Hello, Elections. How may I help you?
Yeah, hi. I was calling to see how the vouching works during the election.
Okay. So when people register to vote, they need to have a proof of residence. And so vouching is one option, and that's where someone that is registered can vouch for someone else that lives in their same precinct. So basically, you know, they'd be saying, I know this person and that they live at this address.
Or how many can we vouch for, actually?
Yeah, so one voter can vouch for up to 8.
Like, they don't have any ID or anything like that, we can at least vouch for them so they can at least register and vote.
Yeah, that's the case where I think it's used most often, is if people don't have an ID.
All right, hey, thank you very much. Thank you.
So if your relatives were to come here from India during voting season, we just go to Minnesota and all 8 of them can vote.
Hundreds of non-U.S. citizens were registered to vote illegally in Illinois.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, his office found nearly 95,000 people registered to vote, but not U.S. citizens.
This man is not a citizen, but he was able to register to vote in Arizona, even got a mail-in ballot for the presidential election.
Arizona state law requires proof of citizenship to register, but federal law does not.
Okay, so lo que necesitas que tú firmes aquí.
Rasmussen asked 2,466 U.S. likely voters if they were citizens. 5.3% said no, but 95% of those voted in 2020. 4% were not sure, but 79% of those voted in 2020.
There is no way that such a process could have come into place by accident. There's got to be a systematic campaign to take down the guardrails or the safeguards for something like this to happen.
It is the left that is out there wanting to expand the voting franchise beyond our original intent. We have created all of these opportunities for fraud to enter our system.
In 2000 Mules, we exposed election fraud after it happened. Here, we're exposing possible fraud that could happen. Election fraud is part of the standard playbook of tyranny. Tyrants despise legitimate elections where they can be voted out of office, so they seize control of the election process and bend the results to guarantee their victory. Can this be stopped?
I want to tell you something that you may find a little shocking, and it's something that we've discovered. Well, it turns out you can buy the legit ballot paper, download a absentee ballot, and I make 10,000 ballots.
Wow.
I mean, do you find this surprising?
That's terrifying. The fact that this is America and we're talking about this is horrifying. I've never heard of something like this.
How do we have confidence that the 2024 election will not be rigged and stolen?
I want to ensure, with my position as co-chair of the RNC, that every single American, when you go cast a ballot in the United States, you should feel confident in that vote. This is the #1 focus we're gonna have. If you come to the RNC right now, the bulk of the bodies at our offices in Washington, D.C. are solely dedicated to election integrity. We have pledged to have 100,000 people across this country trained as poll watchers. Those are people who actually are just standing and watching, poll workers, people who can physically handle the ballots in these polling locations. We also want to have legal experts in the room. Right now we have 92 lawsuits out in 26 different states. You're supposed to, as secretaries of state, clean your voter rolls. We had a recent issue in Michigan, and they had 92,000 people who were inactive voters. These are people who moved out of the state, who have died. The Secretary of State did not want to oblige. If they will not do the things necessary, then we send them a lawsuit. And we've been very successful throughout the course of the past several months with these lawsuits at addressing these really egregious issues.
What do you think is going on with these illegals?
It's a huge problem. We actually just had a big call with all of the Republican secretaries of state around the country to tell them how they can go in and they can identify non-citizens, take them off those voter rolls, make sure they are not registered to vote. Obviously, we have a problem with the Democrat secretaries of state who do not want to comply with that. We are looking out for any way that people are cheating, any sort of election fraud. Talking about it is not enough. Worrying about it is not enough. We have to get involved and we have to do something. If you have people all across this country who are willing to make it their mission and their goal to take people to the polling locations to encourage their friends, their family, people they see at church, someone they see in the grocery store on a regular basis, get them out to vote, then we are going to win on November 5th of this year, and I will believe it will be an early decision, and we're going to go to bed early on that night.
The Democrats have a horrible candidate. They've got horrible policies. Usually when you're in that situation, you think of, how do I cheat my way to victory?
Yeah.
In different elections, the cheating isn't exactly the same. 2020, they use one strategy,
Yep,
you know,
absolutely.
2,000 mules.
Sure.
2022, suddenly the tabulators don't work in Maricopa County,
Yep.
suppressing the Republican vote. Are you confident that between the Trump campaign, between the RNC, that you got your eyes on this election and that you'll be ready if the Democrats try to pull something?
You can never be too confident. I'd love to say, oh, I'm confident. If you take a look at Pennsylvania, I was so far up in Pennsylvania, then all of a sudden I'm like tied. I said, what happened? You couldn't lose it. We have dishonest polls too. I mean, I had one in Wisconsin where they said I was down 17 points, and I won. And I called up the pollsters. They said to me, they don't care. If you're down 17 points, people don't go out and vote. They're good at cheating in elections, or they couldn't get in. You can't get in when you're in favor of open borders. Bad education, horrible education. Everything wants to go woke. Did you ever meet a woke person that's happy? There's no such thing. Men and women's sports, you have to use electric cars. You can't win. We have the best people. All I want you to do is guard the vote. Make sure it's not swapped, it's not thrown out. Bad things don't happen, they don't drop ballots. So no, we have bad elections and we have bad borders, and those are two things you have to have a great country. We don't have either. If we don't win, we can't fix that problem. If we vote, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. We have a lot of eyes open this time that we didn't have in 2020. I mean, a lot of people are watching. It's much more difficult for them to do it. They're gonna try, but you gotta get out and vote. We're gonna take back the system, and we're gonna fix our borders, and we're gonna fix our elections.
You're saying you'll do your part, you want them to do their part.
They have to do their part.
Will you assure the American people that if re-elected, you will shut down this election fraud once and for all?
Oh, we're gonna shut it down. We have to shut it down.
Okay, let's keep this as easy as possible.
Democrats still needed to solve the problem of Biden.
Their problem? Their problem. Trump's filling stadiums. The only thing Biden's filling are diapers. We need a different candidate.
Okay, Biden won't go.
He said for and out.
Well, he's in it.
To lose it. Then it's on him and the DNC.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Now,
I
look,
can't
look,
do
look,
anything else.
We know things didn't go as planned.
Really? You think? Should have let me handle it.
Oh, this is about the opposition research firm. That's what your problem is.
Tabloid hacks. Russian hookers peeing on a mattress that Obama slept on. That was the big idea. My 13-year-old grandson could have come up with something better than that.
It was the pretext you needed, and you used it.
It was sloppy. Just like you. You're sloppy. The whole thing is a mess.
He's a dinosaur.
Amateurs.
This whole thing with Biden was a fake deal. Everybody knew he was not gonna make it. And I think the debate was the thing that finally showed what a con job the whole thing is.
Everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right, he did beat Medicare, he beat it to death.
And it showed what a knockout artist you are, because, I mean, when before in American history has a presidential debate put the other guy out of the race?
Well, there's never been anything quite like it, actually, and that's what put him out of the race.
An insider cabal of powerful Democrats pushed Biden out and installed Kamala Harris as the nominee.
Who doesn't love a yellow school bus? Everybody's laughing. The yellow school bus. Yellow school bus. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Hard hats are actually unisex.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. Coconut tree. Oh, round and round.
Every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past, but the future.
Yes, Kamala is silly, but don't let that distract you from her dangerous policies.
Like, everybody needs to be woke.
You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage, but...
Yeah, well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator.
It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution. To put equity firmly at the center of our economic policy. I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
I know that there are protests still happening in major cities across the United States.
They're not going to let up, and they should not.
Minneapolis 2020, Tim Walz gave them the go-ahead to torch the place, and Kamala Harris raised bail money for the rioters and arsonists. As Governor Tim Walz unleashed the police on residents of his state who violated COVID curfew rules.
Go inside now! Get in the house!
These are the people that Lincoln warned us about. The threat of tyranny doesn't come from a shuffling Biden or a cackling Kamala by themselves. It comes from the Democratic Party, a lawless regime that marches under the banner of democracy as they destroy our constitutional republic and what is unique and good about America.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
We don't need a reformed Trump or a Trump who stops tweeting or a new and different Trump. We need Trump as is. What we need is to reform our understanding of the man. The country is in danger, and the threat of tyranny, just as Lincoln foresaw, is real. But it doesn't come from Trump.
Never stop, never surrender, never stop, never surrender.
The Democrats are lying to us again. They know Trump isn't a tyrant, but they falsely accuse him because they know he's the one Republican that can stop them. So they must stop him first. We can't let them do that. Like Lincoln, Trump is the best man for the crisis in which the country finds itself. He's the one man who can restore the American dream. Together with Trump, we can overcome this crisis. We can defeat the bad guys. We can make America great again.
Never surrender. Lift your head high, fist to the sky. Fighting for freedom, we'll stand our ground. We won't back down. Fighting for freedom. Never stop, never surrender. Never stop, never surrender. Never stop, never surrender. Keep fighting. Never surrender. Oh, never surrender. Get out and vote. Thank you very much.
What are you doing? Hey, Chloe.
Yeah? What?
Are you ready for this?
Sure.
All right, hold on.
What is he doing?
They call that the billionaire dance. Yeah.
Billionaire dance? Is it patented or something?
What, can you do it? You see?
Wait.
Oh, look at white girl trying to dance. No.
What are you trying?
Yeah, trying what? You gotta let it loose a little bit, right?
Okay.
And then you gotta get moving. It's almost like you're doing a little karate. Helps us reach our first billion. Don't forget the face. Don't
I feel
forget
richer
the face.
already.
Don't forget the face. That's when you have too much money. You just got too much money. Look at that crowd. They're loving him. Yeah, twist it out. Twist it out. It's called having fun.
We should try that more often. Right?
Yeah, and that's how we make sure all the visitors are registered.
What are you guys watching here? I was curious once too. Nothing to be ashamed of. Get the hell out of my office.
Right. Grab my jacket, and it was my last day anyway.